Last season, the Copperheads went toe-to-toe with the best and proved that they, yet again, were the best. Even after the most agile cars on their team were eliminated, the rest of the team stepped up to the plate and did the job, surviving big hit after big hit. Can the Copperheads be the champions of Junkyard Joust for a third time? Well, first they have to get out of this main event, and they've got some serious challengers. Hi everybody, I'm Aaron Yonda. Welcome to the Junkyard Joust. Today the Copperheads face off against these 9 other teams, and it's not going to be easy. They're facing 3 other teams ranked in the top 10 from the qualifiers, and 5 of these teams have a bonus action. Let's take a closer look at the competition. The Auditors had an impressive debut in their qualifier, and they're here to prove it was no fluke. The Bandits proved themselves last season with a 5th place finish in the finals, and they want back in for another try. The Copperheads have swapped out the inconsistent custom dragster with this more heavyweight Pontiac. They're ranked number 30. The Guardians of the Junkyard got something to prove. The Hot Racers got 9th in the finals last year. They want another shot. 4th in the finals last year. Jetstreak has been around forever. Will this be their year? Ranked 26, Keep Calm and Motor On was a bit of a surprise in their qualifier. Can they surprise us again? The tiniest team to ever compete, it's the Micromobiles. Ramp Stamp impressed in the qualifiers, and with their ability to undercut, they're a fearsome foe. Truculent was solid in the qualifiers. They're ranked 9 and ready for action. Here are the 5 teams that have those bonus actions I was talking about. These are definitely going to come into play in this match. Get ready. It's time to joust. Round 1, starting off with Ramp Stamp Forward Speed, sponsored by Beaks Busted Barn Finds, taking its place on the track. The random running order has been decided. Next up, Hot Racers Modified 69 Ford Mustang, sponsored by Sloss Automotive Sachet and Buffet. Cars that are upright at the end of the round move on to the next round. Next up, the Morris Mini, sponsored by Moo Cow Horse Farm for Keep Calm and Motor On. The Mini hits a wall, flips over upside down. Will it stay like that? Guess we'll find out in the next hit. From Drax for the Guardians, sponsored by Sean's Toy Room. And there it is, the Mini pops back upright, can't quite get off the track, which may end up being a mistake. Nice recovery though, at least for the moment. Mr. Bean going down with his new pal Troy in the 49 Buick Roadmaster, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Nice hit there for the Bandits, and look at that! Wow, Bean and Troy not even fazed by the impact. Drax recovers, the Mini does not. A nice hit and a pretty fun date if that's what's going on here. Truculent deciding to send down the service bed truck, sponsored by PriceX Private Parts. Service bed truck hits the line. It is solid, does not even buckle at all. Oh, and I wonder if that's coincidence that Barb was in the back of that truck going down right after Bean. They've got some history here. Fusion Busta up first for Jetstreak, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Fusion Busta can't get underneath the service bed, but Barb goes tumbling out. Troy and Bean somehow still staying in the car. 5 cars currently lined up. First up for the Auditors, the Audi 90 Quattro, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Quattro attempts a takedown on Fusion Buster and almost gets it, denied right at the end. Although Fusion Buster has not made a complete recovery, hit a 6 on the way there, and then lands almost off the track, close to a 45-degree angle, but that's a recovery. First up for the Micromobiles, Formula 1. And that is, I guess, an undercutter for the Micromobiles, maybe the only offense that they've got, and it gets underneath the Quattro. One of the 2 cars that survived in the finals, Tucker Torpedo, sponsored by Judy Collins. Tucker jams itself underneath 2 cars, pushes that Micromobile up in front of it, knocks the service bed out of commission, and the Audi recovers. Copperhead starting off strong. Next up, Flashfire for Ramp Stamp, sponsored by Pick Your Sticker. Flashfire muscles its way underneath the Tucker Torpedo. That doesn't happen that often. Thrown up, but not over. Up front, Forward Speed has escaped the track. A successful hit for Ramp Stamp. The Ford Capri GR5, sponsored by Reaper EOD for the Hot Racers. A heavy hit from the Capri, and look at this. Tucker Torpedo eliminated early on. Team effort there by Flash Fire and the Capri, and now the Bandits are in trouble. Troy and Bean poised for a toppling. Smokin' Grill, sponsored by Star Corps Industries. Smokin' Grill slams into the line, and there goes the convertible for the Bandits. The Capri is still alive at the moment. Bean and Troy did not get thrown free, and they're just kind of hanging out underneath the car now. Here comes Rocket, sponsored by Judy Collins. A big hit from Rocket pushes Smokin' Grill forward. Flashfire is all the way up to the front. The Mustang is about to topple, and it looks like its teammate did topple, the Capri. Smokin' Grill is in trouble here too. 73 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, sponsored by Reaper EOD. The Cadillac smashes into the line and breaks it. Smokin' Grill turning over, the Mustang over as well. 2 eliminations on that hit. Bandits strike, and they strike hard. 75 Sierra Grand 15 Custom, sponsored by Jason's Bits Boys. The Custom slams into place a little bit off the track. That modified rear end of the truck has given it an unusual amount of agility in the Junkyard Joust. Here comes the original Jet Threat, sponsored by Judy Collins. Jet Threat flips the Custom over, and that back end does it a favor. It lands upright, but things do not go well for Jet Threat on that hit. I don't know exactly what happened. Looks like it kind of lost control when it hit the truck and just flipped over. The Sirocco GT24, sponsored by Beaks Busted. The Sirocco tosses Jet Threat off the track. It lies next to the Tucker Torpedo sideways and done. Sirocco is curbside. We got another Micromobile DeLorean, sponsored by Sloss Automotive. The DeLorean, wow, actually takes down the Sirocco. Unbelievable. The Micromobiles showing some good offensive ability in this match so far. That was an actual takedown by the heaviest car on their team. Very first run for the Pontiac Grand Prix for the Copperheads. A nice big hit from the Pontiac, and something went flying. Looks like probably off the DeLorean as it gets flipped over and eliminated. A little buckling up front on that hit, but all the cars settle back in. Ramp Stamp sending down Odd Rod. Cookie going for a ride, sponsored by Sid from Cybertron. Odd Rod smashes into the Grand Prix, sends Cookie spinning all over the place down the line, landing down by the truck, right on the hood. Maybe there's some leftover Fanta on there. Cookie's trying to lick it off.
That great
12 Corvette Z06 Drag Racer, sponsored by Sean and Patrick Hogan. The Corvette pushes Odd Rod forward. Grand Prix goes over and gets the over easy, or at least goes over sideways. That's going to be another elimination for Copperheads, but we all know they are resilient, so nothing to worry about yet. Royal Flash for Keep Calm, sponsored by Pick Your Sticker. Royal Flash sends a chain reaction down the line, and somehow the DeLorean makes a recovery, just about a recovery anyway. Micromobile's getting tossed around here. Star-Lord, sponsored by Judy Collins. Star-Lord packs a big punch, and Royal Flash takes it, getting thrown all over the place, but making a nice recovery. The DeLorean finally goes over. Odd Rod's going up on top of Jet Threat. Star-Lord is curbside. 64 Chevy Impala, sponsored by Chorgoth the Infinite Horror. Impala slams Star-Lord pretty ineffectively. Star-Lord starts to go off the track. Odd Rod does little spin on top of the Cadillac. Custom 62 Chevy, sponsored again by Pick Your Sticker. The Chevy shovels Star-Lord off the track, and the Impala moves forward a bit, hood up. Jet Threat 3, sponsored by Brendan Walsh. Jet Threat 3 slots in, no damage on the hit, except for maybe a little paint. 94 Audi Avant RS2, sponsored by Sloss Automotive for the auditors. There's been some Avants racing over at the Braggin' Wagon tournament on Gravity Throttle Racing's channel. It's a pretty fun time if you haven't seen it. Checkered Taxi Cab, sponsored by Chorgoth. The Taxi Cab bounces off the Avant, goes on the track sideways, just can't do anything. It's too tiny. Semi-Psycho for the Copperhead, sponsored by Sicken. Checker taxi cab gets squeezed off the track violently. Hurled into the chicken rings, onion wings food cart, hits a height of 7 on the way over there, and then bounces over Mr. Bean's car into the barrels. And at the last second makes a recovery for the micromobiles. Wow. Bubble Gunner for Ramp Stamp, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Bubble Gunner tries to take down Semi Psycho, does not do it, but it does take out the custom Chevy. Truculent's gonna lose one. Copperheads breathe a sigh of relief. The LB ER34 Super Silhouette Nissan Skyline, mouthful of words, sponsored by Mark the Music Lover, flips Bubble Gunner up in the air, and Bubble Gunner gets caught on the back of the Avant. A precarious position, indeed. Here comes Troubled Decker, sponsored by Underdogs Unleashed. Troubled Decker knocks Bubble Gunner out of its predicament, but it does not make a recovery, staying upside down just about off the track, and that bus is curbside. Yondu for the Guardian, sponsored by Chicken Rings Onion Wings. Yondu tries to take out the bus, but the bus surprises it, turning sideways and not going anywhere, and for the moment still going. Yondu curbside. 72 Mercedes-Benz for the Bandits. The Benz plows into the line, which is backing up quite a bit. The bus kind of skips along the top of the Silhouette and doesn't tip over. That thing stayed alive. 71 Ford F-250, sponsored by Chome. The Ford slams Yondu off the track and takes it down, pushing the Mercedes underneath it. The Mercedes is also getting under the Silhouette, and the bus holds on. Cloud Cutter, sponsored by Judy Collins for Jetstreak. Cloud Cutter annihilates the bumper right off the back of the 250. It is toast. That's some damage right there. The Silhouette's trying to stealth its way off the track, slinking off to the left. Ford stays on the track though, despite losing that bumper. The bus almost went over, but it settled down right side up. 84 Audi Sport Quattro, sponsored by Milo's Motor Menagerie. The Audi Sport mounts Cloud Cutter and just kind of sits right on top of it. Not a super good place to be. Skyline survives that hit, and the truck's starting to go off the back of the Mercedes. Police Car, sponsored by Beaks Busted Barn Finds. In its qualifier, this police car broke into all kinds of pieces. Let's see if it can hold it together for this match. Gonna have to take a hit from the Purple Passion Woody, sponsored by Slost Automotive. Whoa, I think it held together, but I don't know where it went. The police car gets thrown into the junkyard, falls behind the cars. Oh my gosh, a height of 9 on the way there, and it lands behind all the cars in the junkyard. Gonna have to get a closer look to see if it looks like that might be right side up. Looks like that's probably below 45 degrees. The Woody with a vengeance. Cool One now, sponsored by Hendrika's Heavy Hauling. Cool One takes a shot at the Woody, can't get it off the track. The Audi balances, and the 250 stays in position. Here comes a big hit from the Mercedes-Benz AMG C-Class Racer, sponsored by Jason's Bits Boys. The Mercedes chucks the Cool One off the track. Cool One manages to keep balanced and find a nice little landing spot, and it's probably good to go. The Racer is curbside. Fat Fendered 40, sponsored by Sid from Cybertron. The Fat Fendered 40 has pushed the Benz up on top of Woody, and that's not a great position to be in. Looks prime for getting eliminated. Hot Racers do not want to lose this car. Baby Petey is taking a ride in Groot, sponsored by Rip Ash. Oh! Groot slams into the Fat Fender, goes sideways. Petey goes flying all over the place, lands in the grass, pretty soft landing. And just like I thought, the Hot Racers AMG Mercedes-Benz is finished. And that is very bad news for the Hot Racers. That's one of their best. 64 Continental, sponsored by Sicken. The Continental takes a shot at Groot. Groot goes up in the air over and over and looks like he's gonna make it, but then he doesn't. Hits a height of 6 before failing to make the recovery, and the Guardians are gonna lose another one. The 02 Chevy Silverado, sponsored by Jesus. The Silverado pushes the line forward, scooting it down, and actually the Woody now looks very iffy. Man, that would be a big loss for the Copperheads. It's the Terror Tyrrell P34, sponsored by Sicken. The Tyrrell takes a shot at the Silverado, and the Silverado recovers. However, the Continental doesn't. Flipped over easy and eliminated. That's a massive loss for the Bandits. That's basically their best car, and that is bad news. The Renault Sport RS, sponsored by Farty Marty. The Renault helps the Tyrrell get farther down the track and start to mix things up a little bit. The Woody's back right side up. Fat Fender sitting on top of the cars. The Tyrrell getting underneath Cloud Cutter, its own teammate. That's not great. Wolverine 4x4 Tracker, sponsored by Ripash. The Tracker bounces off the Renault and goes back down the track. Not very far to go, though. We are way back down, almost to the bottom of the hill. One car left, and it is the Chevy 1500 for the Copperheads. They saved this one for last, sponsored by Emo Dingo. The Chevy slams into place, and oh no, the Tracker gets squeezed sideways. And that is going to be an elimination. No chance to escape, because that is the end of round 1 of main event 3. Looks like there are going to be 18 eliminations in the round. Not too shabby, but not a massacre. No full team eliminations. The most any team lost was 3. And the only team that lost 3 was the Hot Racers, surprisingly. Here's all your eliminations. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Some pretty fierce competition today. Truculent, Micromobiles, and Copperheads all lost 2. Jetstreak and Auditors only lost 1. They are down to 4. Hot Racers in the biggest trouble, losing 3 on the round. Ramstamp just lost 1. Hot Racers lost 3. Keep Calm, Guardians, and Bandits each lost 2. Everybody hanging out on the sidelines, pretty excited. This is the final match before the finals.
That bean fellow, I don't think he's from this planet.
Once we're down to 3 teams, we're gonna know everybody who's in the finals.
Anytime.
Round 2, here we go. Auditors only lost 1 last round. They're starting off with the Audi 90 Quattro. The randomized running order is up. Nobody's used a bonus action yet in this match, which makes sense. You wanna save those until you really need them. Fusion Buster takes a shot at the Audi, but it does a great job of staying level and escaping. Forward speed plows Fusion Buster off the track. Fusion Buster keeps it even. Royal Flash bangs into forward speed and takes itself apart in the process. The whole top of the car is severed from the bottom and the car splits in half. As long as the bottom stays right side up though, the car is still good. Drax punches the top of Royal Flash off the track, just kicks it out, and then attempts to leave the track himself. Lower half still on the track. What a wallop. The Sierra Grand smashes into what's left of Royal Flash, and another chunk is coming off now. There really isn't going to be much left if Royal Flash survives the round. Purple Passion Woody on a tear just takes down both of the cars on the track. They are still on the track though, so this isn't over yet. But wow, what a hit there. Copperhead's laying it down. The Impala takes a shot at the Woody for the Bandits and then just tries to get off the track to safety. Doesn't quite make it, but that's close enough that it's probably good to go. And look at that, Royal Flash recovers up front. Formula 1 for the Micromobiles just turns around after hitting the bumper of the Woody, and if it wasn't a Micromobile, I'd almost say that there's a ramp now. It could still function as a ramp, you never know. Not when the Corvette hits the track though. Formula 1 gets tossed off. I think it recovered, and now the Fanta truck for Truculent has also recovered. A lot of recoveries going on out here. I don't think there's a single elimination. The Renault Sport tries to mix things up, but nobody goes down. Corvette has a moment, but it's still okay for now. Cloud Cutter slams into place. Still no eliminations. Pretty tame hit there by Cloud Cutter. Flashfire tries to take out Cloud Cutter, cannot do it. Starts to go underneath the Woody. Rampstamp pretty excited about that undercutter. Trouble Decker slams into the mix, and it looks like Royal Flash is in trouble again, and so is the Woody for Copperheads. Both vehicles still on the track though, so it's not over. Rocket speeds into a solid line, that bus not moving. Royal Flash starts to come down, and the Woody starts to come down, and we are back to having no eliminations in this round. The Ford F-250 finally gets an elimination there for Guardians, losing Rocket, and now the Ford is locked in. Semi-Psycho blasts into the pack. Cloud Cutter goes over sideways. Uh-oh. This could be an elimination for Jetstreak. And we've got a line of about 4 cars. Cadillac Coupe DeVille knocks Semi-Psycho off the track. Nice recovery there, keeping Copperhead going. Checker Taxi Cab bounces ineffectually off that big old Cadillac. It does manage to stay upright, but it's still on the track. It's gonna go flying on this next hit. The cab takes off on that hit from the Super Silhouette, and wow, did it get some height. It's going up to a height of 10. We haven't seen that for a long time. Man, oh man, that micromobile just takes it. And look at that, makes a recovery after all of it. Impressive landing, and what a great hit. The Avant shoots into the Super Silhouette, tries to wrestle it off the track, can't do it, and goes back in. Jet Threat 3 locks it into place. The line is pretty tight right now. Odd Rod and Cookie can't break it up. No undercut there, and Cookie goes catapulting all the way down by the Avant and lands on her face. Fat Fendered 40 finds the line too tough to break and goes curbside. Ooh, that's not a good position to be in. Star-Lord thwacks the Fat Fendered 40 off the track and sideways into elimination land. It hits a 6 on the way there, and Odd Rod just goes flipping all over the place and then somehow pulls off a recovery. Nice takedown there for the Guardians. The Silverado shoulders Star-Lord aside. Star-Lord keeps it level and keeps the Guardians in this match. Copperhead send the Chevy 1500 down. It locks in behind the Silverado and then takes a hit from the 72 Mercedes-Benz, which starts to knock it off the track. Can't quite make the escape. Jet Threat 3 starting to get under some cars here. The Avant goes up on top of it. Micromobile's police car bounces off the Mercedes, and I think we're gonna see another car take flight here. A mega hit from the Audi Sport Quattro sends the police car tumbling into the air. It hits the side of Cloud Cutter, I think, and then it explodes. Pieces flying everywhere. Wheels off to the right in the junkyard. The rest of it goes off to the left. There's the top. I don't know where the bottom is, but I mean, the car is basically toast. There's no way it can compete at this point. Yeah, it's done and out. There's basically no car left to joust. And there we go, that loosened up the line big time. The Terror taking down the Sport Quattro. That's gonna be another loss for the Auditors, although it looks like the Avant might make an escape. Truculent and the Bandits holding their breath. Final car of the round is Cool One, takes a shot at the Mercedes, but the Mercedes holds on. No eliminations on that hit. This has been a bruising match so far. Only 5 eliminations in that round, and yet 2 cars almost completely destroyed. But we've got a lot of good survivors here, and they'll all be going into round 3, except for these 5. No teams eliminated yet. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Jetstreak and the Auditors fall to 3, Micromobiles down to 2, Copperheads and Truculents steady. Keep Calm and Motor on, and Guardians of the Junkyard both lose 1 down to 2. Ramp Stamp in the lead right now with 4. Hot Racers steady at 2, and the Bandits hold at 3. Well, that was only 2 rounds. There's still a ways to go. Nobody's used their bonus action. So next Sunday in the second half of this match, you're gonna see a lot of bonus actions. You're just gonna see a lot of action in general. This one's definitely going all the way. There are still over half the cars left, and all the teams are still in it. If you had to choose, which 3 do you think are gonna make it out of this match? Thanks for watching, everybody. Support this show at patreon.com/junkyardjoust. We'll see you next time for the rest of this main event, and then we're gonna have 2 custom events in a row. Cheers.